Dark Myth WuKong Chapter 23 The Osmanthus Tree. When Sun Wukong's figure reappeared, he had transformed into an ordinary Arhat. Sneakily observing his surroundings, he headed towards the peach garden. Although Sun Wukong didn't want to admit it, the worry and unease in his heart were undeniably real and growing heavier since he awoke. After carefully bypassing all the guards, the peach garden finally came into view. At first glance, the entire garden seemed unchanged. The only difference was that the heavenly soldiers guarding it had been replaced by bald Buddhist soldiers. However, Sun Wukong knew this was merely superficial. Given Tathagata's nature, he wouldn't just assign a few soldiers to guard such a crucial place. He recalled how much Tathagata coveted the Queen Mother's peaches back then. Now that he occupied the Heavenly Court, his wish finally granted, how could he not monopolize it? Sun Wukong didn't dare be careless. Despite his current surge in strength, he was still no match for these tens of thousands of Buddhist soldiers. A slight misstep, discovery by the soldiers, would likely lead to another bloody battle. Sun Wukong didn't fear fighting, but he feared Tathagata discovering the purpose of his trip. Forming a sword finger with his right hand, he gently circled it before his eyes. Instantly, golden light radiated from them. He peered into the hidden space surrounding the peach garden. A moment later, a touch of gravity entered Sun Wukong's expression. Tathagata's methods were indeed grand. He had actually set up the 9 heavens, 9 realms void grand array for this peach garden. This array was created by Tathagata using supreme magic power, involving 9 other Buddhas, refining the Buddhist relics, the paramount treasures of Buddhism, into 9 separate worlds. He then hid these 9 worlds in the void around the peach garden, according to the 9 palaces configuration. To the naked eye, the peach garden seemed close, but upon entering from any direction, one would fall into one of these worlds. Entering these 9 worlds was easy, but leaving was harder than ascending to heaven. Upon entering any one of these worlds, one would find themselves transformed into a mortal. All sorts of worldly hardships, difficulties, birth, aging, sickness, and death would follow one after another. After finally surviving all this, one would discover they had fallen into the 6 paths of reincarnation in the underworld, endlessly cycling through life and death. Even if one possessed heavenly willpower and immense magic power, breaking through reincarnation and reclaiming oneself, it was too early to celebrate. 8 more worlds awaited. Most importantly, these 9 worlds were completely different. Each world was uniquely dominated by a specific type of worldly suffering or emotion, with other moods and difficulties as secondary elements. For example, falling into the extreme cold world meant experiencing unbearable coldness that wouldn't kill, but would inflict the agony of extreme cold penetrating the body constantly, interspersed with negative emotions like sorrow, despair, fear, and loneliness. It was no exaggeration to call this the foremost defensive barrier of Buddhism. Such a terrifying grand array tightly encircled the peach garden. Outsiders absolutely could not enter. Therefore, even Sun Wukong frowned deeply. Without entering the peach garden, he couldn't know the situation inside, nor her safety. But facing such an array, Sun Wukong lacked the confidence to force his way in. Just as Sun Wukong was at a loss, wondering whether to barge in, an extremely faint voice echoed from the depths of his mind.
Wukong, is that you? Have you come looking for me?
Sun Wukong froze, momentarily overjoyed, but quickly suppressed it. He glanced around, saw no one noticing him, then slowly walked, while speaking in his mind.
It's me. Fan Xin, is that you?
Yes, it's me, Wukong. It's me. Wukong, listen, I'm fine now. I know you led the Yao clan against the Heavenly Court, and the Buddhist sect took advantage. The entire Heavenly Court is now Buddhist territory. But I'm all right, and I now control the entire peach garden. I believe it won't be long before I can take human form. Fan Xin,
Wukong, No need to say more. I know you still have your mission. Don't worry. I'm very safe here. Nothing's wrong. I'll wait for you here, wait for you to rise again, wait for you to make a comeback, wait for you to take me back to Flower Fruit Mountain. Sun Wukong, remember you are the ever-victorious great sage equal to heaven.
With that, the voice vanished. No matter how Sun Wukong called out in his mind, there was no response. Sun Wukong knew Tathagata might have sensed something, forcing her to disappear. Looking up towards the former high firmament hall, Sun Wukong clenched his fist tighter. Taking one last look at the peach garden, Sun Wukong transformed into an inconspicuous streak of light, heading towards the former Guanghan Palace. This time, Sun Wukong's perilous return to the Heavenly Court had one primary objective: to obtain a branch from the Osmanthus Tree in Guanghan Palace. The Osmanthus Tree on the Moon Palace was said to have grown from Pangu's eyelashes, containing the supreme great Tao, but no one knew how to dissolve the branch to absorb the Tao for themselves. Previously, the Heavenly Court was full of talents who tried countless methods, grinding it into powder for tea, forging it into weapons for daily nourishment, even integrating the branch into their own bodies. But without exception, all failed to gain anything. Later, the Jade Emperor ordered all Osmanthus trees sealed within Guanghan Palace, forbidding anyone from approaching or taking them. However, after Chang ascended to the Moon Palace, this Osmanthus forest came under her stewardship. Over time, Chang'e discovered another wondrous use. The branches could seal magic power, memories, and even souls. She didn't report this to the Jade Emperor, but secretly told the then Marshal Tianpeng. Marshal Tianpeng later discovered yet another use. If the Osmanthus branch was dried with fierce fire, its fragrance had the miraculous effect of consolidating the soul and nourishing the body. Later, on the journey to the west, Zhu Bajie accidentally revealed this secret. Sun Wukong now wanted a piece of the Osmanthus branch to increase Zhu Bajie's chances of survival. Though uncertain of its effectiveness, he couldn't just watch his junior brother suffer. Additionally, he wanted to check on Chang. Sun Wukong knew Chang was the source of Zhu Bajie's persistent courage. After narrowly avoiding several patrolling Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Sun Wukong finally reached Guanghan Palace. Upon arrival, Sun Wukong quickly concealed himself, scanned the surroundings, found no overly powerful Buddhist soldiers, then once again shot myriad golden beams from his eyes. When the light faded, Sun Wukong frowned deeply again. This time, it wasn't because of a powerful barrier. On the contrary, Guanghan Palace was utterly deserted except for a few guarding Buddhist soldiers. Though extremely puzzled, Sun Wukong had no better option. With a few leaps, he reached the Osmanthus forest. Scanning the area once more, Sun Wukong cautiously approached the largest Osmanthus tree, pulled the golden cudgel from his ear, aimed at a branch, and gently tapped it. The branch instantly broke off. Sun Wukong reached out, and the Osmanthus branch landed neatly in his palm. Sun Wukong plucked a monkey hair, placed it in a fold of the Osmanthus bark, nodded slightly, then fled faster than he had arrived. However, Sun Wukong didn't return to the spiderweb cave immediately. After stowing the Osmanthus branch, he flew towards the former High Firmament Hall, now known as the Great Hero Hall. But as Sun Wukong neared the High Firmament Hall area, he abruptly stopped, quickly hid himself, and silently approached the entrance of the Great Hero Hall. Because as he got closer, Sun Wukong suddenly detected the presence of Bull Demon King and the others right inside the High Firmament Hall. Besides Bull Demon King, all the other Yao clan leaders, major and minor, were there. This thrilled Sun Wukong, but a moment later, fear gripped him. If he had vanished so abruptly just now, it was inevitable that the Buddhas in the High Firmament Hall might have detected him. Even if the Buddhas didn't, if Bull Demon King and the others showed any sign of abnormality upon sensing his arrival, Tathagata, with his cunning mind, would likely immediately deduce his presence nearby. The reason Bull Demon King and the others might detect him sooner than the Buddhas was because of the bowl of blood wine they drank when the 7 brothers swore brotherhood. Since then, a subtle connection through bloodline existed among the 7 brothers. Thus, Sun Wukong broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, his increased strength allowed him to detect the situation in time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been dire.